So Bear and I are at the Sanilac Petroglyphs at the Cass River Wildlife in the state park here. And Bear's kind of walking me, so we'll see how this goes. But it's his first time to see the petroglyphs and also his first time on such a big adventure. So lead on, Bear. Absolutely beautiful here, this wind. Let's keep going. So this is an interesting circle here. Arrangement of the stones. Here's a stone. One cut on it, and here's a stone. Sorry, I know I'm going in circles. I just wanted to see what that moss was about. But there's the end of this tree root here, which is actually what drew my eye. And as you can see, pull out a little ways. There's a mossy mound right there, and stones throughout. One right there. It's okay, Bubba. I don't want you to go in there. Stones over here. There's a little stack of them back. Oh, okay. We're a little tangled. Hold on one second. So we've come over here now, and yeah, Bear's going right to it. What is that, Bear? What's in there? There's moss all over these stones. Lichen. And they kind of trail off in that direction over there, yonder ways. To these stones here. Freaking you out, man? There's more over this way. And cross over this church. In this area here. Shush, shush, shush. Mush. You're a good boy, Bear. So definitely some stones going on here. Okay, onward we go. We can't go anywhere right now because there's a miniature puppy. I see him. He's so itty bitty. Puppies love the petroglyphs. Okay, so Bear was like super uncooperative at the spot where the guy was telling the stories, so we decided to just move on. And now we're going through this space here, and we just saw some really interesting markings on a stone I took some pictures of, and then I wanted to take a picture of this rock here for you guys. Here's the size of the stone. It has markings on it, which are obviously some of them are newer, but like these older ones, I don't know why people have to do this to these things. Bear really, really wants to climb them. Oh, hold on. He's like super intrigued by all of this, and he wants to climb on top of all the rocks. So I'm going to take some pictures of these, just to give you an idea of the scale. The bear wants to climb. That was a tree. It is definitely swaying in the wind. It is a very clear path, and then there's these rocks that have these holes in them. I get a good angle as you can see I took some pictures of this other one. It was like perfectly round. A couple of them have been, and it is like following a stone path. And then see these? And yeah, bear, yucky. See, they're like they're kind of like the cups. Not exactly sure, but it's definitely a stone path, and there's like, it looks like melting, like vitrification, and then at a right angle, like things like melted around a bend. I have pictures of those too. I'll post all of it with you guys. So we were headed to the big site, the Mamba Jamba. So just wanted to get a little bit more of this gorgeous breeze through the forest.
Now, when she gets mad or angry or wants to bring trouble to someone, she takes her tail, whips it around in the water hits those spikes and shoots up into the air. Well, everything that goes up, of course, has to come back down, and it comes down as rain. She's the one that I get to blame in a little while for wanting to be soaked. So the next one's going to be further down towards where you came in at. This one right here. You probably notice it's quite a bit deeper than other images on the rock because they came back regularly to retell the story, and as they did, they'd use their teaching stick or another hard object to retool it. His name is Ezhibiigaadek. He's also known as the bowman or the archer in English, and he's the chief of knowledge. So his body represents the shaft of an arrow. The V above the head is not only an arrowhead, but it points to the thoughts, prayers, and teachings he'll shoot through his bow and arrow into the future for the next 7 generations to learn from. Many times when members of the tribe come and visit, they will pray or meditate at this image, as well as leave offerings of tobacco or copper. So it kind of shows us that it's not something that was only important long ago, but it's still very important even today. All the rest of the images are going to be on the other side of the rock. The first couple are going to be over there in that corner. If you want to shift over to the other side.
Come on, Bub. Come on, Bear.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
He's very happy to be Lilac.
Yeah.
Someone looks tired.
He's had a long walk. Come on, Bear, over here.
I wish mine would just do that after a walk. After a walk, it's go again.
Right.
Like, I don't have this kind of energy.
He's more of a porch dog.
So right here in this corner, above this discolored spot, is this figure right here. So his name is Kai Magizi and Magizi Anini. He's also known as the Eagle Man. Kai Magizi is the great eagle, and he flies east to west every morning as the sun pushes away the darkness to make sure the Anishinaabe are following the teachings that were sent down by the Creator. Magizi Anini is there to remind them of those teachings and also to honor Kai Magizi and to look east towards the direction of the new day and where knowledge comes from. So as probably mentioned, they came here for a few different things, and that one of those things was to settle tribal differences or grievances. Each tribe would send a chief. He was allowed to bring 3 rowers. So here you've got the canoe, the chief and his rowers. The river, which is just on the other side of those trees, came right up to the rock. It was on the shoreline, so as they would go up and down, they seen this, knew that's where the meeting was going to take place, and they needed to stop. So kind of like our exit signs today. So the next few are going to be on top of the rock again. The first one will be right about here, and I'm told you can see it best from an angle, so if you actually keep going down just a little bit further. So you've got the head, an eye, back, and a fin or a flipper. Any guesses what it looks like?
I thought it was a bird at first.
It's not a bird because it lives in water.
Oh, penguins are a
Frog?
It's not a penguin. It's not a frog.
Frog?
A humpback?
No, it's not a whale.
It's a turtle.
It is a turtle.
A
Was the only one left.
Oh,
Now,
I see it.
more
Yeah.
specifically, it's a sea turtle.
Wow.
So the Anishinaabe believe they were descendants of the Algonquin, who were the native people that lived in the eastern coastal areas. So as stories were passed down for many generations and people moved inland, we get a sea turtle in Michigan.
Wow.
So his name is Gitche Manitou, and he lives in Gitchagumi. You might know that Gitchagumi is another name for Lake Superior. However, he's outcast by his family, so he swims through the lakes to the Straits of Mackinac. There he calls all the creatures he created to come and help him. Many try and fail. Finally, a muskrat's able to get to the bottom, scoops up a few grains of sand, which he gives to Gitche Manitou. From that sand, he creates Mackinac Island. Now, if you've ever gone to Mackinac Island, or if you ever go, pay attention. Around the island on the signs, you're going to see quite a few turtles, or you might have. And this is one of the reasons for it. Another reason is because the topography of the island, so the elevation and how it's shaped, is just like a turtle shell. The native people seen it as a sacred place. The Algonquin, who believe they were the first original people on Earth, actually believe the world started at Mackinac Island and spread from there. So they often made pilgrimages there. Now, when Europeans came to the area, they not only brought things to trade, they brought their firewater, firearms, disease, as well as their dislike and disrespect for Gitche Manitou's people. This upsets Gitche Manitou, so he gets up and he leaves. Right above that hole is going to be the next one. It's another one I'm told you can see best from an angle, but not the one I'm standing at because I can barely see it. So you're going to see a few short lines. There's going to be two longer lines, an eye kind of down here, and a few more short lines. So this is the thunderbird. There's some tribes who believe he's so large that when he flies, he blocks out the sun. When he flaps his wings, he shapes hills and valleys. But he doesn't fly very well when it rains. So when the underwater panther on the other side makes it rain, to scare her off, he'll shoot lightning out of his eyes. She doesn't care for that, so she makes it rain harder. Now we know today hard rain and lightning to be a thunderstorm, but it was a way that stories were used to explain things that went on around us, especially things in nature. So the last couple are going to be on that smaller part of the rock. First one's going to be this one right here. Kind of looks like a candle holder, or what we can still see of it.
Wow.
So you've got 7 short lines on top, a line that comes down and around. There were 3 longer lines and a 4th shorter. So this is called Naganjamoan. It's also known as the 7 fires or 7 prophecies. And these were stories and prophecies that were sent down to the Anishinaabe. They were stories that told of things such as respect, honor, love, bravery, courage, and wisdom. And then there were prophecies like the coming of pale-skinned people on trees pulled by clouds, and that those people would bring disease and famine. They were told they would then have to undertake a great walk towards the direction of the setting sun to a place where food grew on water. They were talking about the Great Lakes region and the wild rice that grows here. Along that walk, they were to make 7 different stops. At each stop, a few people were to be left behind. Those who got left behind were to create new tribes. So that walk started from the east coast and came up the St. Lawrence River. It stopped at a turtle-shaped island, then near Detroit, passed through this way up to Sault Ste. Marie, and then over to Wisconsin and Minnesota. As you go west, there's a few tribes who have a similar language to the Anishinaabe, so an Algonquin-based language. So some people believe individuals continued that walk even further on. So right here, we've got this spiral. That's called Bimadaslan, or life in all its meaning. So a person, as they go through their journey, will have many different physical forms, but their spirit will always stay the same. When someone's born, they're born in the center. As they go through their life, their connection with the world and nature grows. So does that spiral. At the end, there's a spirit called the Night Walker who guides the person on their next journey. He's never too far away. So here's his head, the body, and legs. Now, like many of the images on this rock, he's got multiple interpretations. So if you're in this part of the country, he's the one who will take you on your next journey. If you're in the Southwest, he's a spirit that comes in the middle of the night, kidnaps misbehaving children, and eats them. Lastly, we're asked quite a lot about this large crack here in the rock. So many people believe the whole rock represents Gitchi-Manitou, the turtle. Others say it's a bison or a buffalo. And they're both laid out exactly the same. So you've got the head here on the smaller part, the back or the shell, the tail at the far end, and then the underbelly where we started. Now the more likely explanation is also the least interesting. Sandstone's porous and holds water. Fires come through, that water turns to steam, causing it to crack. And we believe that, just like that rock over there, we find ones all over this area that are very similar. Mm-hmm. Did you guys have any questions?
No questions. Very interesting.
So if you see anything I didn't talk about and you have a question, feel free to ask. I will have an answer, even if it's just I don't know. Stolen, the big ones. And then you've got these shallower ones.
They were stolen?
Yeah,
So those are the ones that were vandalized.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, those were the ones, things were vandalized too. You can see all right in there,
Yes.
Yeah.
all the letters. These are the ones that someone stole between the last fire and about the 1920s. Also, sometime in that time period, we also had people, or the same individuals, attempt to steal. Thank you.